So, for years, one of the biggest secrets of the entire 9/11 investigation was this 28-page section of a congressional report. It was locked away, stamped top secret, completely hidden from the public. But after a long, hard fight for transparency, they were finally released. The question is, what exactly was the government hiding? Well, let's dive in. Okay, so this one sentence, this is what it all boils down to. This is the core finding that was kept under wraps for so many years. Now, it doesn't give a final, definitive answer, but man, does it point investigators toward a deeply troubling question. Who on earth was helping the hijackers on U.S. soil? And let's be super clear here, this isn't some fringe theory. This quote comes directly from page 415 of the official joint inquiry. You can literally see the top secret stamp right there on the document. This is official confirmation that U.S. intelligence had credible, serious information about potential links between the hijackers and people connected to the Saudi government. So, where did this explosive conclusion even come from? Well, the report doesn't just talk about vague connections. No, it zooms right in on specific people who gave direct, tangible help to the hijackers. And the whole story kicks off in a pretty quiet suburb in Southern California. It all starts in San Diego. Early 2000, two of the guys who would go on to be 9/11 hijackers, Nawaf al-Hazmi and Khaled al-Mihdhar, they arrive in the United States. And they are totally lost. They speak almost no English, they know virtually no one, but they wouldn't be lost for long. The first key figure to pop up is a man named Omar al-Bayoumi. Now, what's really interesting here is that even before 9/11, the FBI already had their eye on him. They had files with tips going back to 1999, suggesting he might be a Saudi intelligence officer. And what do you know? Almost as soon as the hijackers land, their paths just happen to cross. And I mean, look at the level of support he gave them. This wasn't just a friendly hello. Al-Bayoumi finds him an apartment. He co-signs their lease. He might have even paid their first month's rent and security deposit. He even threw them a welcome party to introduce them around. The report itself calls it considerable assistance. So this leads to the million-dollar question for investigators, right? Was al-Bayoumi just a really, really good Samaritan, a friendly face helping out some fellow countrymen? Or was there another reason for all this support, especially when you remember the FBI already had suspicions about him? And al-Bayoumi wasn't alone. The report also highlights his close associate, a guy named Osama Basnan. Basnan just so happened to live directly across the street from the hijackers. Coincidence? Maybe. He was also suspected of being a Saudi agent, and the report notes his extremist views. In fact, he later actually bragged to an FBI informant that he did even more for the hijackers than al-Bayoumi did. You know, whenever investigators are trying to figure out hidden motives and secret connections, there's an old rule they always follow. Follow the money. And in this case, when they did, that financial trail raised a whole lot more red flags. The report shows investigators uncovering a really clear money trail. It says al-Bayoumi had, quote, extensive contact with Saudi government establishments. He was getting money from a company with direct ties to the Saudi Ministry of Defense, a company, by the way, that he apparently only showed up to once. And here's where the timing gets incredibly suspicious. So February 2000, al-Bayoumi meets the hijackers. By April, just 2 months later, his salary from that Saudi-affiliated company, quote, increased substantially. And that pay raise stayed in place all the way until August 2001, just weeks before the attacks. Oh, and there's more. FBI files also dug up another direct payment to al-Bayoumi. This time, it was for $20,000, and it came straight from the Saudi Ministry of Finance. The report doesn't say why, but it's just another piece in what's becoming a very suspicious financial puzzle. But here's the thing. This story is way bigger than just two guys in San Diego. As investigators kept pulling on these threads, they started to realize they were looking at a much, much wider web of connections, one that stretched clear across the United States. Suddenly, investigators are pulling on threads that are leading them from California to Virginia and even out to Colorado. The picture that was starting to emerge was of a pretty broad network that needed a much deeper investigation. The report starts listing off even more persons of interest. You've got a diplomat from the Saudi consulate in LA. You've got a Saudi Interior Ministry official who, what a coincidence, was staying at the exact same hotel in Virginia as one of the hijackers. And you've even got a prominent California mosque flagged for alleged ties to extremist financing. And then came one of the biggest intelligence breakthroughs of the post-9/11 era. the capture of a senior al-Qaeda operative named Abu Zubaydah. And when investigators started going through his phone book, they found a jaw-dropping connection that led right back to the United States. So in that phone book, they find a U.S. number for a company called ASP Coal. Turns out that company managed the Colorado home of the Saudi ambassador. They also found the phone number for a bodyguard at the Saudi embassy in Washington, D.C. All of a sudden, you have a direct phone link between a top al-Qaeda planner and the official Saudi government presence in America. Okay, so you've got all these names, you've got the financial records, you've got the phone numbers. It's all painting a deeply disturbing picture, and it all leads to what is maybe the single most frustrating question of the entire 9/11 investigation. If the FBI had all these suspicions and all these financial red flags before 9/11, why wasn't this network stopped? Why didn't anyone do anything? And the answer, depressingly, is a story of just total bureaucratic failure. After 9/11, investigators found this document. It's a CIA memo, and it summarizes many of these same financial links and connections that we've been talking about, based almost entirely on existing FBI files. And where did they find it? Buried in the San Diego FBI field office. And this part is just, it's mind-blowing. The FBI agent who got this memo just put it in a file. It was never sent up the chain to FBI headquarters, which means the people at the very top, the ones who could actually connect the dots on a national level, had no idea what their own agents had already uncovered in San Diego. Now, it is really, really critical to be precise here. The 28 pages do not conclude that the Saudi government itself was complicit in the 9/11 attacks. What they do say is that there was a mountain of credible evidence and very serious allegations that were never properly investigated, and that they demanded a full follow-up. And honestly, the only reason we're even able to see these documents and have this conversation is thanks to the work of organizations like the Black Vault. They use freedom of information laws to pry government secrets like these out into the open, and it just reminds you how important public access to our own history really is. And that really leaves us with a final, lingering thought. I mean, if these 28 pages were hidden from the public for over a decade, it really makes you wonder what other crucial parts of our history are still locked away in some classified file just waiting to be revealed.